Welcome along to this Community Elements show. My name is Rob, and with me is Brian of Brian's Good News. Hello, Brian.
Hello, Rob. Good to meet you today.
It's great that you were able to be here, and as we're recording this on a Thursday, we've had a layer of snow which has made the roads a little bit slippery, but it just gives an opportunity to wear our warmest clothing. So that's really good. So if you're out on the roads today and out on the paths, certainly over the next few days, just be aware that paths and things could be somewhat slippery, and take warm clothing because it will be quite cold.
Very good advice.
Right. Brian, what have we got today?
A North East children's charity has launched a challenge designed to raise money and encourage fitness. Charlie House, which supports children and babies with complex disabilities and life-limiting conditions, is hosting a 1,000-mile challenge to raise funds for its Big Build appeal. The charity hopes to establish a new support centre which will be the first of its kind in the North East. The exercise challenge asks members of the public to walk, cycle, swim or run 1,000 miles over the course of the year, with the challenge ending on December 31st. Rona Miller, fundraising team manager for Charlie House, said, "A new year brings the chance for new opportunities and making new memories. We have some fantastic challenges that people can be part of this year, including our 1,000-mile challenge. This year, for the first time, we've opened up the challenge to include swimmers and cyclists, so participants can clock up 1,000 miles walking, running, swimming or cycling for Charlie House. Not only are you setting yourself an incredible goal, but you'll be raising vital funds and awareness for the charity. With Charlie House, every penny stays locally in the North East, helping children with complex difficulties and life-saving conditions and their families. The new facility will include 8 specialist children's bedrooms, family accommodation and a range of different facilities. Charlie House will also host a free fitness clinic on January 24th to give people advice on exercise-based events. It takes place at the Aberdeen Sports Village from 6 until 7:30 p.m. 3 speakers on the night will include MSK Therapy and Sport Injury Clinic, Foundation Training and Scott Bapty, a physique and sports nutritionist based in Aberdeen. To register for a place, visit bit.ly/2SOMZK2. A new £47 million academy has marked 100 days of success and challenges and has already scooped its first sport trophy. State-of-the-art Lochside Academy opened after the summer holidays and has already made its mark on pupils, teachers and the community. The school, which can hold 1,350 pupils, was built to replace Torry and Kincorth academies. To mark the 100-day milestone, head teacher Neil Henry and education convener councillor John Wheeler sat down with the Evening Express to speak about the progress the school has made so far. Mr. Henry said the young people, who are the most important, have settled in well. The 3 communities, Cove, Torry and Kincorth, have come together and they are really getting on well. There was a huge amount of work done by a number of people, by Kincorth and Torry staff and primary schools staff. That was key for coming in and beginning life as Lochside Academy pupils. It's still early days, but we're already starting to find our identity as a school. Mr. Henry said the youngsters were enjoying the fantastic state-of-the-art facilities. The school houses a 25-metre swimming pool, dance studio and sport pitches. Mr. Henry added, whether you're a scientist, musician or an athlete, they have the best of the best here. This means that very quickly we have seen a number of clubs and activities come into it. Lochside pupils are taking part in activities such as the Duke of Edinburgh Awards scheme, and the school band has performed at Aberdeen City Council's Celebration and Young People Award ceremony. Mr. Henry added, the school has already experienced a number of firsts. our junior girls team won the Scottish Under-14 Sevens Cup down at Torry in Glasgow. That's quite an achievement. They went down and took back a trophy, and I'm hoping that's an omen that might be more coming. As part of a Christmas charity appeal on behalf of the Rotary Shoebox Scheme, pupils filled 77 shoeboxes with gifts for less fortunate children and families of Eastern European countries. Mr. Wheeler said, "It has been wonderful to hear how the staff and young people have been settling into the new school. The investment we made as a local authority, we are already starting to see the fruits of that." A man has spoken of his wife's cancer battle and hailed her as a survivor to help highlight a new health campaign. Ian Clark's wife Liz was diagnosed with lung cancer in 2013, and the 65-year-old from Cults has spoken out to tell his My Survivor story as part of the Detect Cancer Early Survivors initiative. Research indicates that fear of a cancer diagnosis stops some people from acting, but the Detect Cancer Early Survivor movement shows more people are overcoming the disease than ever, and being checked early plays a crucial role. The campaign encourages people to share what a loved one's cancer survival has meant to them by using #MySurvivor to tell their side of the story. Liz, too, was diagnosed after visiting her GP about a persistent cough that would not go away. She was sent for further tests, which revealed a malignant tumour in her right lung. Ian said, "I instantly feared the worst. My first reaction was to think about the worst possible outcome. However, as time goes on and more tests are carried out, you gradually obtain more information each stage of the way, and that helps things slightly easier. There were good days and bad days. Some days we'd get positive news, like when the MRI showed that there was no evidence that the cancer had spread. Then sometimes we'd get bad news, and it would all hit home again. I was constantly going between a state of hope and fear. The mother of two ended up having her entire right lung removed. Liz said, because I'd taken out the whole lung and the cancer hadn't spread, I didn't need to have any subsequent treatment. It took me a while to fully recover, and I had to take early interment, but the couple, they have 4 grandchildren, and Liz said she would not have managed without the support of her family. Ian, who has been married to Liz for almost 42 years, said, "I really appreciate how much having her enhances my life. I feel so lucky I'm able to enjoy every moment with her, and we can look forward to things together, like the holiday in New Zealand we're going on later this month. I'm so grateful we can enjoy experiences like this together. Without Liz, my whole life would be completely different." For more information, go to getcheckedearly.org. A Zero Waste Cafe is still going strong 1 year after its founders decided to tackle the problem of good food ending up in landfill. Betty Lyon launched the Go Green Torry Zero Waste Cafe after being inspired by Robert Gordon University's Go Green Sustainability campaign. The movement encourages people to become more aware about where their food is sourced and to get them eating more local fruit and vegetables. Every Friday night at Old Torry Community Centre, Betty and her volunteers cook up delicious dinners using ingredients from a Northeast food bank. She said, "We started out with 4 volunteers and now we are up to 9. At the beginning, we started off serving 12 people on Friday night, and now we see about 30 regularly. The most we've cooked for was 56. Local music group, The Melting Pot, have also become regulars." Betty said the cafe has attracted the attention of folk from across the city. "We even have people who come from outside the community to volunteer in the kitchen. There's a 17-year-old girl who comes from Northfield to help out in the kitchen. She was so shy at first, but by spending more time in the kitchen, she built up her confidence. She's come a long way. She chats to people now, and her skills in the kitchen have developed. I call her the Apple Crumble Queen. The cafe is meant to be a place where you can come down and have a good time. It's also great for volunteer experience. Every Monday, Betty makes her way to Sea Finds Food Bank and collects ingredients in preparation for Friday's meal. Betty says when she picks up the supplies, she is not sure what she will be getting that week. She then brainstorms about different menu options for that week for the 3-course meal that they have. Betty said the most challenging menu to create was when she was given 7,000 cocktail sausages. The Torry resident said she prides herself on never having to turn anyone away and is now experimenting with the vegan recipes to accommodate those with different dietary restrictions. Since the launch of the cafe, the team is now focusing on raising funds for much needed equipment updates. Those interested in visiting the cafe can drop it by Old Torry Community Centre on Fridays from 6 p.m. We have a scripture text for this week taken from Colossians chapter 1 verses 13 and 14. Who hath delivered us from the power of darkness and hath translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins. Amen.
Thank you, Brian, for good news stories there, and just thinking about both the cafe and indeed the school, the Lochside School, how that's already come on since September, and thinking about even their achievements, how quickly that they've managed to get not only clubs and societies, but scooping a sports award in Glasgow.
It's amazing.
Which is really good.
So tremendous.
As they said, it should be a good omen, as they call it, to something in the future.
It's a real encouragement.
Well, it's a good start.
Yeah, very good start.
And then there's also the cafe as well.
Well, the Old Torry Community Centre,
Yeah.
yes, that's doing a great service to the community, because many of the people who come along, they can't afford to eat so well, and they're getting 3-course meals. I would say a great service, that.
I think we'll have to actually pop down that way and investigate.
Well, I'm thinking of it.
As part of the Community Elements programme. Find out what actually goes on there and what goes on in that kitchen.
An excellent idea.
And I think we'll have to try that one day. Soon.
Yes.
Soon. You could be our reporter.
Oh.
Being as you live in Torry and being as we're here in Torry ourselves, that could be one to... We'll have to try that one out. But certainly the likes of Seafine do a great job indeed of providing the food that is needed. But what would you do with, what was it, how many cocktail sausages?
7,000?
7,000 cocktail sausages.
I shudder at the thought of that, the responsibility.
Maybe 1 or 2 cocktail sausages, but I mean 7,000 and well...
I wondered if that was a misprint.
Well, 7,000 actually, when you're doing it between about 40 or 50 people, then that would be, well, still quite a bit actually.
Oh, yes, indeed.
What would you turn that one into?
I don't want to think about it.
Now, here's a challenge for you listeners. What would you do with 7,000 cocktail sausages?
Now, don't come back with a simple answer, eat them.
No, it has to be translated into a special...
recipes.
A special pie of some sort. A cocktail pie?
A 7,000 pie.
A 7,000 pie, even better. How about with lovely watercress pastry?
You're making me hungry.
Yeah. Well, one can only imagine. Anyway, what are the other stories that have really spoken to you this week?
Well, the other two both spoke. That you've got this 1,000-mile challenge for Charlie House. Mm-hmm. I think that would be quite possible to do that, because you've got over 350 days, so that's 3 miles a day.
So it's not too bad. It sounds like a lot, but when you break it down, it's not such a lot.
Well, I do quite a bit of walking in that, but don't know if I do 1,000 miles in a year, but I might.
I think if you actually add up all your distances, you could probably do quite a few miles. And I mean, mobile phones, well, smartphones anyway, they do give you some indication of how far you've walked, but I don't think they're always as accurate as all that.
I'm wondering if I'll try that, because I've done a great deal of walking in my time, but I can remember once, 4 times, walked from London to Brighton. And that was 50 miles each time.
Well, you ran some of it.
On one occasion, yes. That was not last week.
No.
There's the Survivor article that we read about this Ian Clarke's wife Liz, diagnosed with cancer, lung cancer. But it was the fact that she reported it early and it was diagnosed early. So there's a much, much better chance of recovery. And she is proof of that. Now, after the lung was removed, she doesn't need any more treatment. I think that's quite amazing, isn't it? What an encouragement it is to people to, when they do feel maybe a thought there might be something wrong, get it seen to quickly. Then, if there is something wrong, the earlier they've got it, the much better chance there is of a full recovery. I think that's a very encouraging story.
But I think it's also really encouraging as well when you hear about people who, even if they didn't have a lot of time left, yet with the time that they do have, they decide that they're going to do something really great with that time.
That's right.
And they actually make their life count. And I think it sometimes takes something like that, whether you're connected directly with it or not, or whether you hear about it, to actually take you to wake up to the fact that our lives are not infinite. They are finite. They will end sometime.
But let's make the most of what we have.
Let's make the most of what we have.
Yes,
use
indeed.
what you have to make a difference in other people's lives, and people do that.
That's right. Excellent. Very encouraging.
Yeah. Okay, Brian, can we get you to do your reading once again, please?
Indeed, from Colossians chapter 1, verses 13 and 14. Who hath delivered us from the power of darkness, and hath translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins. Isn't that a tremendous encouragement?
Yeah. Brian, can I thank you very much for that?
My
Excellent.
pleasure.
And we will see you again next week at the same time for another Brian's Good News. This is the Community Elements Show.